Hey there, Southern. Welcome to another episode of Film Guy Reviews. I'm your film guy, Matthew Sinclair, and for today's episode, I will be discussing the latest indie horror gem known as It Follows. The It Follows is about a teenage girl named Jay, played by Maika Monroe, who, after a brief yet strange sexual encounter, finds herself being stalked by this supernatural entity that not only tracks her down, but begins to endanger the lives of her friends. And as the film progresses, this entity becomes more powerful and won't stop hunting her down until it finally gets her. As always, I will undergo the ups, downs, and my overall consensus. Here we go. Now, first off, I absolutely loved the premise. I kind of like how the Babadook manages to serve as a metaphor for grief and depression. It Follows, and this is how I interpreted it, manages to serve as a metaphor for STDs or the dangers of human sexuality in general. And another thing that I liked was how, even though this supernatural entity takes many forms, we don't see what it truly looks like, and kind of like much older horror films like The Haunting, The Blair Witch Project, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it manages to play into the horror of what we don't see. And to me, that's even more terrifying than a lot of newer horror films in which the creature is right in front of us. And I also want to give major points to the cinematographer and the composer, whose bright lighting and synthesized score helped make the film a throwback to films like John Carpenter's Halloween, without ripping off films like Halloween wholesale. So it paid us a nice homage to a rather golden age of horror cinema. Honestly, those are the kind of horror films I watch these days, because whenever I go to the movies, I don't go see horror films that come out nowadays, because they just don't seem as scary to me anymore, because they're always relying on jump scares and such, and cliched characters. Now, I also thought the acting, for the most part, was very good. Maika Monroe, who plays the lead character, Jay, I thought she gave a very layered performance and gave her character plenty of depth through the use of her facial expressions, allowing us to easily sympathize with her character. Even though some of the other actors were underutilized, I thought they did a nice job with what they were given, and they did a nice job supporting Monroe. And thankfully there's not really any downs, but overall, I thought It Follows is a haunting and inventive throwback to a golden age in horror cinema that features brilliant cinematography, a chilling score, solid acting, and creative writing by writer-director David Robert Mitchell. And I would give it a final grade of an A-. So that was my review of It Follows, and if you want to check out my full review alongside my coverage of anything else related to film, you can check out my website, www.filmguyreviews.blogspot.com, and you can also follow me on Twitter @filmguy619. This is Matt Sinclair of Film Guy Reviews signing off. Stay classy.